Hi, my name is Drew Pomeroy, and welcome to this beginner-friendly series on learning RStudio and Shiny Apps.io for athlete monitoring. In this series, we'll be exploring how to create a dynamic and user-friendly web application to monitor athletic performance, specifically focusing on baseball players. So now that we've got the structure, let's go ahead and add this to the rest of our plots here. And then we're gonna go over what we need to do for that rotational one that we split apart the left and the right sides, because we're gonna need to get an average of the 25th and 75th percentile for the left and the right sides. So we'll kind of go a little bit more detailed in that, but after that we're gonna have this really squared away with those percentiles on the graph there. So first, let's head to that CMJ bar graph output. So what are the things that we're gonna need to update to make it match what we had before? As we went through this, here we're going to need, instead of this player data all events like we were doing before, this is just the inputs. We just need player name. So this is going to exactly match what we did previously. Input CMJ metric. Instead of having this CMJ metric values, what we're going to do is add this line in, and then we're going to go in and add our percentiles. So this will all still work really the same way, so that Y is just going to change down here. But I'll show you here. Filter the data based on the selected player, so that's why we have that player name input here. So we're just doing a little bit more manipulation later on. So this is going to be player data, filter new assessment, full name, input player name. So easy. That's going to be the same for every single one of these. Next, what we want to do is calculate those percentiles. So I'm just going to copy what we did before, and then I'm also going to copy in this as well. Let's go ahead and boom, boom, boom. All right, so that percentiles data, we got to make sure that that's in here. Names, percentiles, we want to do that G sub again. We want everything to be the same as before. And then for the debugging, go ahead and change this to CMJ metric. This is just going to tell us in our little console down here what those metrics are, so we can just kind of cross-reference and check that pretty easy, just to make sure that the information's coming through. So that's all the same as there was previously. And now I want to extract the percentile values with the correct column names. So the same thing we did before. And let's go ahead. I'm going to add some debugging in here as well. So I'm going to add these in, extract percentile values with the correct column name. So this is the exact thing we had last time. And then debug those percentiles. So this is just, displaying those percentiles for us. Now, same thing, we want to check if the percentile values are empty and provide defaults if necessary. If they are NA, we want to make sure that we put in the min and max, just so that we still have something displaying on there, and then we can go back and figure it out if that ever happens to us again. So let's grab that, give us a couple spaces. So yeah, we're really just going to be copying and pasting the same exact stuff we had from last time. We've got that here. And then in our ggplot, so what we'll need to do, instead of player data all events, we're going to take this away, and this is just going to be player data. Remember, we changed that up top there. AES, X equals event ID. Y is going to equal, remember we did the symbol deal here. So let's get rid of this CMJ metric values that we had previously. And we're going to go ahead, the symbol input selected CMJ metric. So that's going to work for us. JBar identity fill is black. And then let's go ahead and add that GMH line. And what we'll do here is Y intercept equals P25. Color equals dark red. And apologies if you can hear the construction in the background. They're painting our entire townhouse community. So that's been super fun to deal with. Okay, dashed, boom, boom. And then we're just gonna do the same exact thing. So I'm just gonna copy this. Same thing for P75. And it's gonna be dark green, line type dashed. Awesome, labs. Event ID input selected metric. I'm gonna change this also. Title. Yeah, I'm just gonna rearrange this just because I want this to be consistent with what I did previously. So labs, pace 0, so input selected 10 metric space longitudinal graph, but we're just kind of barely changing it, right? That doesn't matter. You could probably keep it the same way that you had it before. I don't think the labels won't really matter. So anyway, I'm just going to update it so that's like that. And let's go ahead and run this just so that we're sure everything works. All right. Let's go. And it didn't work. Problem while computing aesthetics. CMJ metric value is not found. So CMJ metric values. The label. All right. The label we want to change. GM text, GMH line. Input. This might not even be. This is a good catch. This might not even be on my other ones. I think that's the data label that we wanted. So let's go ahead, let's run that again. Okay. Nice, that worked. If you want to look down in this corner here, so ignore this for a second. What we're seeing here, bilateral CMJ jump height, nice percentiles, data frame. So we are getting those values to come through. Bilateral CMJ jump height. So this is our test, the P25. So we do have a value coming in for P25 and P75. We've confirmed that down here. So now when we go, let's make this a little bigger. When we go down here, we're going to see, yeah, our 10.5 works. And also this is working, but that's the issue. So we've got listed like event 2 and event ID. So we're not pulling in. This is only pulling in event 2. So when I switch these, yeah. All right, what we'll need to do here is come on out, and we're gonna go back up into the input CMJ, input selected CMJ metric. So this is the bar graph output. What we had in here was this GM text line. So let's just remove that completely so that it matches theme minimal plus event ID and input selected. Nice. Got all that. All right. So let's go ahead and run that. Awesome. Confirm that the values for bilateral CMJ jump height are coming through. Make this big again. And 10.5 longitudinal RSI. And that's super funny that this says 10.5 longitudinal graph. We'll change that here in a minute. All right. Event 2 only, huh? What's going on? Right here, labels. Put selected CMJ metric. All right. Hopefully that does it for us. Okay. Nice, but we're still only getting one event. What is going on? All right, what I've done here, gotta get rid of that. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at this again, and bada bing, bada boom, there we go. We've got it coming in. So when I put that parentheses in there, what it's saying is look into the selection, which is exactly not what I wanted. I wanted it to look at event 1 and event 2. So we've got that in there now, and we can see that we have the percentiles coming through. The flight time looks really funny. Again, randomized data, so we're getting really funky numbers, but pretty cool that we've got this thing working, coming in. So Let's update our upper body power section, and then let's jump into that rotational power section. All right, so let's look for, you can search that output money sign upper bar graph. That's going to take you to our graph output for upper body. What we're going to do here again, we're going to remove this player data all events, and we're going to replace that with input player name. So let's go ahead and do that. Input player name, input selected upper metric, nice. And now what we want to do, we're getting rid of this upper metric values. So let's go ahead and just remove all of this so that we're not messing anything up. So what we want, again, just like we did last time, it's going to be the same thing. Extract the values for selected metric. We're calling that player data. Let's go back up. We're going to calculate the percentiles. We're going to do the little debugging thing. And then we're going to extract percentiles with the correct column names. We're going to do the debugging thing again. Then remember, we're going to check if percentiles values are empty. If they are, we want it to default to that min and max of the player data itself. So again, all of that stuff you really can just copy and paste and then just update, right? This needs to be selected upper metric, where the other one was the previous one. Again, in here, the output selected upper metric, just so we can check it. But for the most part, change up here to the player name, throw in this player data section here, do these percentiles. That's all going to stay the same, right? Those two. Output debug, just update that piece. Same thing here with the percentile values. Update this piece here. That's input selected. Throw in that debug percentiles. That's exactly the same. This is check if they exist. That's exactly the same. And then that min and max will be the exact same, with the exception of updating your selected metric in there. Now let's get to ggplot, and we are going to do same things last time. So I'm just going to copy exactly what it is, right? So we have that player data, aesthetics, event ID, y equals exclamation symbol, input. Just replace that with selected upper metric. And again, here we need to change this. This is not selected 10 metric. This is selected upper metric and selected upper metric. Let me change this on my other one too. Nice longitudinal graph. So update those three areas. Again, we've got that P25, P75 is dark red and dark green. This should be good to go. So let's go up to our server. We've got our debugging written in there. And it looks like down here, I'm getting that med ball. Down here, I can see that 25 and P75 do have assigned values. So let's go ahead and check it out. We did 10.5, we did bilateral, upper body, boom. We have got that coming through. This one, the 25th and 75th percentile are really not far away at all. So we may want to alter the graph here a little bit, because those are kind of overlapping. I don't know if you can actually really see, but you can slightly see that there's red in there. But anyway, we may want to set the y-axis on this one. And now what we're going to do is get into that rotational power metrics table, or the graph itself, and get those on here. So what we'll need to do, you can see we haven't done this up here yet. We need to extract, right, the left and right side. So this needs to be the value that is selected from our drop down, and then we need to take the average of the left and right sides for the 25th percentile and the 75th percentile. So we are going to jump into that process. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay updated on the next video, and I'll see you in the next one.